Hey everyone, I need your attention for 1 minute. This is not one of those ads. This is something that has changed my entire life. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know that this is all about personal development as the foundation for everything good in your life. And this podcast is now sponsored by Growth Day, which is the world's first all-in-one personal development app. I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine having everything all in one place that you need to create the life that you want? Now you can. So if you've been struggling with your motivation, your mood, your productivity, or your purpose, you have to check this out. Growth Day helps you consciously change your life and achieve your potential. It has all the self-improvement tools, motivational classes, and life coaching all in one place. So many of us want to improve our lives, but the question is how? Where do we start? What do we use? How do you get unstuck? How do you make self-improvement stick? Well, research shows how. It's when you consistently journal, track your habits, set goals, learn from empowering mentors, and challenge yourself that you'll be happier, healthier, and more successful. But let me ask you something. Where do you actually do all of your personal development work? I have to tell you that over 300,000 people use Growth Day for a reason. It works. It's the world's #1 software for self-improvement. Growth Day has an amazing mindset journal that I absolutely love, a habit tracker, and a goal-setting system. In fact, I bet if you went to my stories this week, you probably saw me using the journaling app and telling you to do it too, because it's the first time that journaling has ever actually stuck consistently in my life because of this app. And best of all, Growth Day has live inspirational classes every single week from the world's top motivational speakers and life coaches. These are people who have impacted my life in huge ways. These are mentors who I already knew and loved. In fact, this is something that's so huge for me, you guys. I personally teach a class in Growth Day every single month, and it is one of the most fun things that I get to do, and I'd love to see you there. These classes will truly shift your life. There's always something new that you will learn. So join me and 300,000 achievers growing our lives with actual real intention. Visit growthday.com/Lori for a free trial. Yes, you can try this for free. So go to growthday.com/Lori and go live your best life. You guys, that's growthday.com/Lori. And I can't wait to see you there. Welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. I'm Lori Harder, founder of The Bliss Project, 3-time fitness world champion, fitness expert, and cover model turned self-love junkie, lifestyle entrepreneur, and author. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a thought that will help you bust through your fears, connect to your soul, and get focused and clear so you can elevate your life, business, and relationships. We don't wait until we're ready for someone to tell us we're good enough. We take what we want and we anoint ourselves. Get ready to earn, own, and unapologetically rock your happiness every single day. Are you with me? Here we go. Welcome back to the Earn Your Happy podcast, and today I have the honor of bringing on Kate Maloney, who I recently got to spend a little bit of time with in LA filming for RiseUP The Movie, and completely humbled to be a part of this culture-shifting documentary. And let me tell you a little bit about Kate. Not only does she have an incredibly inspiring background, but I know that you're going to be able to find a way that you can be a part of this incredible movement that she is helping to create as well. Kate holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and a doctoral degree in psychology with an emphasis in organizational applications. She has applied her formal training to the areas of business development as an entrepreneur, organizational psychologist, executive consultant, and author. So she is the co-board chair along with John Mackey, CEO of Whole Foods Market, for the Center for Integral Wisdom, and has recently been working on RiseUP The Movie, which we're going to talk about today. So let's get started. I'm so incredibly excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with all of us.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for having me, Lori. It's totally a delight to connect with you as always.
So I know that I just introduced you to everyone, but I would love if you would just bring us back before all of this amazing stuff that I just chatted about in your bio, and just bring us back to the point, maybe before you even knew what you wanted to do, because I know I'm so excited to be a part of RiseUP The Movie with you and be a part of this huge movement that's happening, but take us way, way back before this was even a thought.
Yeah, you bet. Oh my gosh, a little stroll down memory lane. Well, I think myself, like most people, particularly most women, I ended up coming out of high school, going into college and being in that place where all of a sudden I was supposed to know what I was supposed to do with my life.
Mm.
And you make it up. That was my experience. I made it up. I just started saying something.
I love
like,
it.
like you just had to start saying something, right? And I started paying attention to, what inspired me and what do I love, and I just started rolling with it. And through college, where I found myself was getting an undergraduate degree in psychology and in communications and film. And so I loved that. That was fun. I had no idea what that meant or what I was going to do with it or where I was going to go. But really the world was pulling me, or so I thought, society was pulling me, to, well, what are you going to do? And, God bless me. Here I am, like probably 21 years old. You know what I mean? Like I look at the 21-year-olds these days and I'm like, oh my God, go play in Europe.
Yes.
Go do something fun, but it's so easy at whatever age we're at to have this expectation like, well, what is it you're doing? And you should know, and it should sound really good, PS, and I didn't know, and I kept making it up, and I decided that I really loved psychology, and what I really loved underneath it, like the real pull for my heart, was making a difference with people, really impacting people to living a life they loved. And so that's what I knew what was true for me. But inside the models I had, I didn't have a lot of choices at that time. I didn't have a lot that was completely available to me. So what I chose for my next step, because really, quite frankly, it sounded good, is that I decided to pursue a doctorate in clinical psychology.
Wow.
And I went on and I applied to and got accepted to a great university, and spent the next 4 years in a doctorate program that was really quite horrific, and was maybe one of the darkest times of my life. And that was really confusing to me because I looked good. I was Kate Maloney off getting her doctorate from fancy university and, in clinical neuropsychology, but I was desperately unhappy and unfulfilled, which was ironic because I was in this whole thing to have people be fulfilled and living a great life. And so for me, it was a real epiphany for me when I shifted to the space of, well, what looked good, and begin choosing from, well, what was I saying that was kind of from a looking good perspective, and this sounded good, and this made me this made sense in some ways, to like, well, what do I want to do? Like, what sounds like fun, And I began to look for myself like, I don't know, I've got this one life here, like this is not going well. And so I don't know, what do I want to do? And so from that place, I began making up new things. And at least this time it was things that sounded like fun and less that sounded like that was really kind of driven by looking good, and which was totally fine. I mean, total compassion to my younger self. It got me to every place that I've gone. And so I got to the point where I had this background in the mental health field, and I realized that they taught us to be great clinicians, but they didn't teach us a lot about business. And I actually really loved business. I loved business. I loved being entrepreneurial. I loved creating things. And so I actually put a team together and I built a technology platform that provided tech services for the mental health care field. And I was fortunate enough where I brought together a great team, and I had a few great friends who believed in me and gave me a little money. And I built this company, and the company took off, and I was really fortunate. And and then that company went so well that we ended up starting a number of companies in the healthcare space. And over the following 8 years, I ended up building 8 different companies and having exits eventually on all of those companies, and just really went on an amazing ride as an entrepreneur by really following my passion, following what sounded like fun, running my companies in a way that was not traditional. I didn't have the MBA, I didn't have any of that. And so again, I just like really made it up day to day with like, well, I don't know, how would I provide great service to my customers? How would I treat my employees? And I didn't even know how the normal world did it. I just kind of made it all up. And that was really the thing that pulled me along that path.
Wow. So many good things in there. And I love that the question that really ran where you wanted to go was, what sounds fun to me? Because I think so many people are, and I know I can speak to this, it was like, I would have done anything for a title. I just wanted a title because I thought that once I got that title, all would be good. I would be happy. People would finally respect me and really listen to me. And it just goes to show that if we're not, no matter what title it is, because you got a pretty good one, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to feel happy or fulfilled, because we're always getting those gut checks, right? Like maybe
That's
you
right.
should be doing something else. And I also love your journey because you keep on going down these different paths and these different roads, and it takes you to these different places, but it's all coming from that same question, right? What sounds fun to me? What sounds good? So what happened next? Where did that take you?
Yeah. And so on the journey of what sounded like fun, once I sold a number of my companies, I was in this new place, where I was able to look newly and ask the question again, which was really coming from nothing, of like, now what sounds like fun? And so I looked at, what's the opportunity for me to leverage my experience, leverage my resources, leverage my passion in a way that inspires me to get back to my roots in a real fundamental way, which is having the world be filled with people who love their lives. And so I was fortunate enough along the way of my journey to cross paths with John Mackey, who's the co-founder and co-CEO of Whole Foods, and was asked to join a board of a nonprofit that he was involved in. We ended up becoming co-board chairs of this nonprofit together. And it was really from that we created this vision of, how do we come together as individuals, as leaders, as people who are passionate to making a difference in the world? How do we come together to impact each other and to be greater together than we are as individuals? And I'm so inspired. From here, we created really, this was the birth of the RiseUP movement. And the whole point of RiseUP is, how do we rise up together? How do we rise up and have great lives? How do we rise up and give our unique gifts? How do we rise up and make a difference in the world? How do we rise up and have success? How do we rise up and have all of it? Like, it's really when we come from that place that we have a world that works for everyone.
Oh.
And so that's the vision.
That is so, it's so amazing because it's a process, right? It's so many different things that I can even look back on my journey. And I know that, we know so many people that it's like you said, just going along your journey of the different passions that you followed, the different things that really made you wake up and change your just perception of the way that life is lived, the way that business is done, the way that you want to feel fulfilled. And that's why I'm so incredibly excited about this movie and just what everyone there is doing, is because I think it hits people at every part of the journey. Whether I love it on the website, whether you're waking up, whether you're growing growing up, whether you're showing up. I think there's so many different places, because I think people who are listening, maybe they're just waking up and saying, wow, there's a lot more to this world than what I thought, or wow, this is not actually making me happy. What is going to make me happy? Or maybe there's entrepreneurs who are really basing their business on giving back. So I absolutely love what this is doing. So can you tell us a little bit more about, how it really got started and where you're at right now?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. So we decided to come together to bring a group of people together here in Boulder, Colorado for a summit. And at this event, we decided to bring together people who were at all stages and to really share their journey of waking up, growing up, showing up, and rising up. And so inside of that, we brought together, Blake Mycoskie from Tom Shoes, Tony Hsieh from Zappos, Alanis Morissette, Grammy award-winning artist, Jack Canfield, tons of amazing people, 40 of these leading minds, to really this intimate event where everybody took 4 days and we listened to each other. And for 4 days, all of these 40 people, and then an intimate, larger group as well, we came together and we really dove into what are people committed to? What's emerging for themselves in their work in the world? What's emerging for them in their own process? Where are they at? And so it was from that we really began to look at what have we found for ourselves is the model of success. What is this new model of success? Not the success we've inherited necessarily from society, the inherited version of go and get a PhD in clinical psych, or, for all of us kind of wherever we think we should be going, where we should get our happiness or our fulfillment, but really what's the new model of success where we've found personal happiness, where we've found success in our business, and where we've been able to make a contribution to the world? Like, what does that look like for each of these people? And so it was a beautiful 4 days of everybody sharing their process. And inside of that, we were all transformed. And inside of that 4 days, everybody in the room, was shifted and altered and transformed. And we came out of that 4 days coming from the space, which was, let's create a movie. Let's create something that we could put into culture where all of us come together, where we're greater by coming together and unifying our voices than any one voice has alone. So, John Mackey's doing his conscious capitalism thing, and Tony Hsieh's doing his Zappos thing, and, Michael Beckwith's doing his agape thing. Everybody's doing their awesome things. But what is the unified message? What is it that we're all coming together to say and inspiring the world to do, which is to rise up in their own lives?
Wow. Okay. So I'm just picturing being in that room for 4 days with all of those people, with yourself, with everybody that was there. And what did that actually feel like? And I know that what's so interesting is, I watch all of the different clips that are coming out of the movie, and people are all saying the same thing in a completely different way. But when you really listen to the underlying message, it truly is all the same beautiful message. So I'm just wondering how much of, what was happening in those 4 days, did you just find this through line all the way through of what everyone was saying?
Yeah, absolutely. There was totally this through line. There was this beautiful arc, this beautiful narrative that emerged that was completely organic. And one of the things that we talk about is that we all have our unique gifts. We all have our unique self-expression. We all are unique selves, right? Mm-hmm. And inside of us giving our unique gifts and expressing our unique selves, we get to be in this symphony, in this jam session with each other. And when I'm doing my Katie thing, and you're doing your Lori thing, and, Alanis Morissette's doing her Alanis thing, like this magic begins to happen. And when we all have permission to really unleash who we are, that's where magic happens. And that's like where we call, like, there's different phases of like waking up to what's possible, growing up into your unique self, showing up into that, and being in this unique self symphony, this unique self jam session where we're all doing our part, and it's this beautiful thing. It's like the self-organizing universe, we call it. It's like the anthill. On the anthill, is there anybody telling the ants what to do? Like the ants all know their different roles. They all know exactly what to do. And inside of that, it's like there's a working that happens. And so that's what we're unleashing, is like this beautiful expression of us all doing our thing. And we've all experienced it. We all have moments where it's like we're in that jam, we're in that groove, and we're feeling like fully ourselves, and other people are feeling fully themselves. And there's no like, oh, I should be more like Lori, or Lori feeling like I should be more like this, or, like it's just like a celebration and an expression of who everybody is.
Amazing. Okay. So I know that, because I'm getting totally jazzed up right now, like just listening to you, I'm like, have this fire in my chest. But there are so many women and so many people listening, I know, who maybe get overwhelmed by the thought of, well, what can I do? Did you find that when you were in the room for 4 days as well, like, did you guys talk about the blocks that would come up with people around maybe wanting to contribute or find their own voice or really contribute in their own way? Were certain things coming up, and do you have any tips to work through maybe if we have blocks or thinking that, we're saying the same thing over and over again? What would you say to someone?
Yeah. Yeah, it got expressed in a lot of different ways. The themes that got expressed about how do you access your unique self? How do you access what it is for you to contribute, right? Because so often we get stopped because we think that we should be fixing the whole thing, doing the whole thing, doing some grand version of it. And what we found over and over and over again was what's mine to do right here in this moment. Like what's mine right here? Like what's mine right here with the day in front of me? What's mine right here dealing with the person at the grocery store checking me out? Like, oh, what's mine to contribute? What's mine to love? What's mine to make a difference with? And it's like the integrity moment to moment to moment. That's all there ever is for us to do. And in the same way, it's like, what's our integrity? Like, what are we called forth? What's calling forth inside of us moment to moment to moment? How am I being present with my mom? How am I being with my coworkers? How am I being, in any moment? And we're always at our edge, but when we call ourselves to the highest integrity in each moment, and interestingly enough, what we also found is the highest, quote, integrity, or the way to get past the block, or the way to, quote, make a difference, right? The way to express our unique self usually comes down to something like, what sounds like fun? Like, what sounds like fun? Like right now, like for Kate Maloney, right here in this moment, what sounds like fun? What is there for me to authentically express or give or do in this moment?
Wow. Okay, I'm taking notes. So, I mean, there's so much right there that people like literally can apply immediately, because for me, I know that I used to get really wrapped up in, well, I really enjoy the foundational work and I really love helping people who are just now starting to, break through on their journey. But I'm not this, massive, like business-minded person who's going to take people through all the way through to the end to see their business and be able to launch this thing. And I just remember thinking, I'm not that. And while I'm sitting over here going, but I really enjoy this. And I really love contributing in this way. And I really love just this space over here, this really foundational space. And I think for a long time, I kept pushing that aside because I didn't think it was good enough. And once you lift that off, knowing that this is what I'm like, this is what I offer. This is what I enjoy here and now. This is what I'm good at right now. This is where I'm thriving and where I'm really having fun. And when I took all of the other things off, thinking I had to do other things or be a certain way or, be bigger or quote unquote smarter than I felt at the moment, it was like, all of a sudden, I started having so much fun and people really started responding. And I really just started to thrive in my own life because I took all of that pressure off of feeling like I needed to be somewhere else. And I love that. What's mine, or where can I have fun right now? Where can I enjoy myself right now? How can I help somebody right now in this moment? So thank you for that. That was just amazing, absolutely beautiful. So what do you kind of envision? What do you kind of hope for this project?
Mm. Yeah, so to give people just a little more background is, for the Rise Up movie and the movement, it's not just a movie, it really is the movement. And Rise Up the movie is just the tip of the arrow where we get to penetrate culture, where we get into culture, right? And we get to come together to share this message in culture. But the movement itself is so much bigger. It's about how do we live our lives? How do we support each other? And how does Rise Up, how do we provide structures and support and connections and everything that there is to do so we can continue to rise up together? So we have live events. We've got a summit coming up in Santa Barbara. We've got online platform that we're putting out. So there's just all sorts of pieces that's really underneath our collective, everybody's involved, our collective mission to really have a container and a space for us to all come together and rise up. So in terms of the movie, the movie is this a beautiful collection of, interviews from remarkable people, from, John DeMartini to Michael Franti to Moby to Michael Beckwith to Marie Forleo, Jack Canfield, Dwight Howard, who's like the NBA All-Star basketball player, Tony Shea of Zappos. There's all of these, Tony Robbins, the Dalai Lama. I forget about him. The Dalai Lama should be first.
Hello.
Maybe we're all a Dalai Lama, but it's like, the unique group of people that's come together inside of this movie, inside of this movement, that are committed and dedicated. Obviously Lori, one of our leading voices, our leading women voices in the film, is, just so remarkable. And so our outcome, our vision for this is to really do everything we can to reach as many people as possible, to get this message out and to inspire as many people as possible. So that's our number one goal. And we're doing it in all sorts of ways. The film is being edited by an Academy Award nominated editor who also sits on the Academy Award voting board. He's really ushering this film in so it could be nominated for an Academy Award. So we're really going traditional track and traditional kind of distribution. And then we're also looking for view on demand in Netflix and iTunes. And then we're really doing also bottom up, which is all of us getting the word out. How do we all together collectively with social media? It's unbelievable the impact we could have and how we could spread a message. And so it's really about how do we bring it all? How to bring everything to bear to bring this message and this movie into the world.
My heart is literally beating faster because I can feel the passion behind the project. And I want to really I want to speak to that. What does it take to get something like this started? And what is it going to take to get it to the place that you want? How much time do we have?
Now you're just going for it. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I'll say that, Laura, you catch me at a bit of a vulnerable time, and for somebody who, it's like, on the one hand, I love to play big games and I love to go for things and I love to be entrepreneurial. And I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this the other day. It's like, but then there's the other part we don't talk about a lot, which is it can kick your ass. And it can be really hard and it really takes something. And that's the other part of like what sounds like fun is like, it doesn't leave out that part. It's like, on the one hand, yeah, it really sounds like fun to bring together these people, and it doesn't sound like fun when there's breakdowns and when there's concerns and when you're chasing down legal agreements and when you've got lawyers that are getting clarification, when you've got to pay for legal fees. I mean, it's like there's a lot of pieces to it, and ultimately, it's like it's taken. I don't want to lie because I think so often inside of like entrepreneurial conversations, it's really easy to have it sound easy, And then so for people listening, or when I hear other people's stories, I'm like, oh my gosh, this should be so easy. It's like, no, dude, it kicks my ass. Like every day, it kicks my ass. So it's got to be fun because it's kicking my ass. You know what I mean? If it's just kicking my ass and it's not fun, that is game over, And so it's taken a lot, and it's been massively fun along the way. And like each day I'm inspired, and each day I'm like living in a way that is like in alignment with myself, and that I'm pulled like, like, oh my God, this is a day that is like fun and I'm stepping into. And it might be scary and terrifying in many ways, because there's things that, like, quite frankly, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to deal with that thing. I mean, there's lots of things like that I don't want to. So I just want to like uncollapse that piece as well, which is, when we go inside and we're inspired, we're pulled by, like, for me, like, what sounds like fun for Katie's life? Like, that would be worthy of my life. And and going down that path, because what sounds like fun is this beautiful big game that I created, I made it up. There's a lot of challenges along the way. And it takes something, so in terms of answering your question, like, what has it taken? Oh my gosh, it takes recreating it and like bringing myself back to the commitment and the vision every day. Like, what, like, why am I doing this? Excuse me, why? Why was this a good idea? Because you forget, even with the things that inspire us the most. And so we've got to bring ourselves back, bring ourselves back, like, oh, right, this is why this sounded fun. It sounds fun because giving my life to like bringing together some of the biggest world leaders about how we could have people on the planet that are living inspired life. Oh, right, like, yeah, that sounds like fun. That moves me. That sounds worthy of my life. And inside of that, sometimes it's a little, you get beat up a little bit along the way, and then I take care of myself, and then I get myself support, and I get myself clear, and I get myself regrounded, and I talk to people like Lori, who goes, awesome girlfriend, keep up the good work. I'm on your team and I'm beside you, and I'm like, oh, right, that's right. Yeah. Thanks, Lori.
Thank you for that, because you totally brought tears to my eyes, because you, not only with the passion before that, but also your vulnerability and being so honest, because your bravery reminded me to be brave, and why we need it. Because if you were not doing this, think of how many people already so many people are feeling this, and they want to be involved, and they feel like they have a place, whether they're just getting started on their journey or whether they want to do something huge in the world. And it's all because you keep on, everybody with this project keeps on waking up and stepping up no matter what's coming at them. And you just reminded me in my life to continue, because, I think what people don't see is, when you're woken up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and all of a sudden you just feel weak, you're like, how am I going to do this? And you just have to let that go and have faith and, continue on and know that it's for a bigger purpose. So is there something that you do, like when you just get blindsided by something? Do you have a practice? Do you have a faith practice? Is there something that you think of that really reminds you to keep going?
Well, I hate to be so repetitive, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Actually, and I don't say this a lot, actually what I do is I actually get a piece of paper, and I get a blank piece of paper, and I get a pen, and I write on the paper, and I say, what sounds like fun? And I get myself, like, literally, I get myself back to anything that I could get to. Because oftentimes when I'm getting to that place, life does not sound like fun. Whatever I'm doing does not sound like fun. And so getting myself back to, like, oh, right, like, that sounds like fun, And if I could get back, for me, when I get related to, like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, what's the worst case scenario that might happen here? And when I could get present to and be in meditation with that for myself, like, what's the worst case scenario here? The worst case scenario is I've invested a significant amount of money. I've invested a significant amount of time. I've made great relationships along the way. I've been inspired. I've become a new person. I've impacted people in the way that I have, and maybe others that I don't even know about, and they've impacted each other. And, we'll have this incredible movie, and you know what? And then maybe some people see it. That'd be great. Like, if I could be like, oh, right, that would be the worst case scenario. That sounds kind of awesome. Like, that would actually be great. And then when I could get to that worst case scenario of like, I'm actually at choice, you know, I'm not stuck in anything. And actually that's like, this is a game I could play. Then I could let it rip. Then I'm in this space where I'm like, oh, right. Like, that sounds like fun. I could do that. That sounds like a good game. And then I'm like, you know what? Well, maybe the next thing sounds like fun. Maybe the next thing, and then I begin to see my way back out to a bigger vision that I don't feel dominated by, right? I mean, that's just so the easy thing is that we get inspired and we create huge possibility. And then what was so inspiring one day, the next day we feel dominated by it. We feel uninspired by it. We feel like overwhelmed by it, you know? And so it's like, okay, great. Like, let's just get on back. It's okay. You got to take it. I got to recreate myself every single day. Every single day.
It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but that's what being alive is, right? It's just feeling is the human experience. And yeah, you're going to experience the gamut of feelings. And I actually love that it keeps going back to that question, because it really shows that, yes, while it may not be easy all the time, it is simple. It's continuing to ask yourself those fundamental questions that really get you back to getting excited about life and what lights you up and what really pulls you out of bed every single day. So I actually love that it keeps going back to that one thing, because it shows people you can kind of find that question for yourself, whether it's that same question or not, that you can measure everything against, and it can give you your answer right away. So if I want to be a part of this right now, where can I go? What can I do? How can I help?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the whole thing about Rise Up is it is an open party. So everybody is welcome to the Rise Up party. Come and join me. Come and join John Mackey. Come and join Tony Robbins, the Dalai Lama, everything that we're doing. This is a space of collaboration and connection. So go check out the website at RiseUpTheMovie.com. There'll be all sorts of ways where you could engage, where you could participate, where you could get content and information and inspiration and engagement. We'd love to hear from you. So there's just all kinds of ways that you could join us and participate. We've also just launched our generosity campaign, which is a place where you could really show up and be generous with your gifts to give and join in on the Rise Up movement. And there you could pre-buy tickets, or you pre-buy your tickets, pre-buy your download for Rise Up the Movie. You could get cool Rise Up t-shirt and gear. You could get exclusive content. You could get all sorts of really awesome stuff. Heck, you could really join us as a high level partner and come and join us at John Mackey's Ranch for a VIP event. Come and join us at the summit that's going to be happening next February at Bacara Resort in Santa Barbara. There's all sorts of ways to join up and to engage and to participate, and that's at RiseUpTheMovie.com.
Oh my goodness, Kate. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add?
You know, Lori, I just want to add that I think you are just the most wonderful woman you're just the most wonderful woman of who really inspires me. That really, like, when I'm with you and when I'm connected with you, like, I become a better person when I'm with you. And like, I get reflected back who I am. And I just really want to thank you because of the contribution you are to my life.
Well, I'm going to wipe my tears quick, but I'm like so inspired by you. So I'm beyond grateful for that. And thank you so, so much. I needed this conversation probably more than maybe anyone listening today. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you guys. And we need every single person to be a part of this, whether it's just sharing it, getting it out there, watching it, whatever you want. But you all have your own beautiful, unique gifts. And if you loved this episode as much as I did, I would love for you to share it. Make sure you go to RiseUpTheMovie.com. And until next time, earn your happy. Bye, everyone. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me on the Earn Your Happy podcast. I am so glad that you stopped by. If you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would love it, that would be absolutely amazing, and we would be forever grateful. Also, please leave us a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving us an honest thought, an honest comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want to hear more of. It would really help us out on our journey to helping thousands and thousands of people. Until then, don't forget to earn your happy. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey all, I'm so excited to share with you, Earn Your Happy is now part of Growth Day Podcast Network. A bunch of us are coming together to bring more growth to the world and support shows and brands that we truly believe in. And one of my friends is also on the network, and I'd love for you to go subscribe to his show. You guys, Trent Shelton has the most incredible podcast. It's called Straight Up with Trent Shelton, and it's going to remind you that you are built for this. I have heard Trent speak in person multiple times. I've listened to his podcast a ton. He's coming on the show, and I literally cannot wait because this man just spits straight fire. It is like truth that goes to your core and makes you take action right away. If you want one of those podcasts that when you're just out on a walk, you can't help but want to start running and run through a wall in your life, this is the show to go listen to. So you guys, make sure that you go subscribe to the show, Straight Up with Trent Shelton. You're going to love it. Want to know a huge secret to my success? Okay, not only my success, but just about every single person that I have interviewed on this podcast who is successful has this in common. You guys, they love to journal. They capture their life lessons and what they're grateful for. But a lot of people don't keep this up consistently, and most people do know that the research shows that journaling deepens your gratitude and increases self-awareness. But did you also know that journaling decreases stress and helps you achieve your goals faster? In fact, journaling is a huge differentiator between average performers at work and high-performing people. It leads to longer-term clarity, confidence, and success. So why don't more people journal? Why didn't I journal consistently? Honestly, they don't like staring at a blank page. It's hard to carry a book around with you or a notepad, and they just don't even know what to write about, or they just forget. That's why I know that you're going to love Growth Day. It's the world's #1 system for self-improvement, and it's like all-in-one personal development in an app. And it has an awesome digital journal, and people love it. Growth Day's digital journal has hundreds of research-backed writing prompts for self-reflection, positive mindset, confidence building, and success. I use them all the time, and it makes me think in ways that I typically don't, and it makes me ask myself better questions, which we all know gets better results in our life. It even has prompts that help you develop a daily, weekly, or monthly habit of reflecting on your life and identifying areas to grow. So it's a perfect time of year to start journaling, you guys. When you sign up at Growth Day, you also get systems for habit tracking, goal setting, and scoring, and improving every area of your life. Best of all, I get to teach there too, you guys. I'm so excited. I hope that I get to see you. I teach live in Growth Day every single month with a new topic just for you. So join me there. Start your free trial at growthday.com/Lori.
Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar, and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.